Hello again. It looks like my best Drake R4B has found another home. So this is a checkout video of the Drake R4B. I have it connected up to the faithful end-fed antenna that has a 9-to-1 Unum on it. And because this radio uses an RCA jack for an antenna, I don't have it connected up to the transmitter yet. I'm just showing how it works. So I have a very simple antenna connection using this coax cable here and connected up through alligator clips to my PL259. I could make an adapter for this, but I haven't done that. So anyway, the radio is connected up that way. And I'm on 40 meters now. There's some sideband type activity on here. Let's take a listen. This is 40 meters. So when you tune these R4Bs up, you select the filter here, and the wider filter is better for sideband. So I have it up right now on the 4.5 position. Yep. Which works great for sideband. So with that said, let's take a listen. This is 40 meters. So the way you run this rig is, normally you have this crystal position in the norm setting, and norm means it will use the normal crystals for the bands inside. So every time you select a band, it'll select a crystal that'll put you in this band segment with half a megacycle here. So with that said, you always want to have your RF gain up all the way. That'll make the S meter accurate. You can do your ABC or ADC here, AM over here, sideband, slow, fast, or off. This is your volume control. If you're on 40 meters or a lower sideband mode, you want to put your passband in lower sideband or L. And you can adjust this for tone, but usually you want to be on L on say 80 meters or 40. You want to go upper on 20, 15, 10, and those bands. With that said, here's a listen on 40 meters. Oh, and when you tune, you always want to peak the pre-selector up. So you tune across the band, you want to peak this for maximum. It's going to be roughly 40 meters will roughly map to 7, 20 maps to 14 here, 21 maps to 15 meters, and 10 will map to 10 meters frequency here, megahertz. And conversely, if you're looking at 80 meters, you would go like this, and you go to 80 meters here. If you're looking at 1.6, 1.5, you would map it pretty much around there also. This does not cover this band. Actually, it does. I have the correct crystal in here for it, so I'll show you that later. Right now, let's go back to 40 meters here by going to 7.0. We're going to peak it up to 40 meters. You might get some spurs in here, or I would say some other resonance. You ignore those and just go right to 40 and peak it around the 40 mark there. There you go. You can see the meter peaking up. There's some Spanish speakers on sideband. Okay, they're on lower sideband. Let's look around for other people.
Checked into R4B service net before. I just don't remember who I spoke with. So, anyways, you guys have a great day, and hello to everybody on the net. And
here's the passband.
Stay safe and stay cool this time of year, I guess. W7JBM back to RV service net control.
So when I scan the band, I usually scan it in a wide mode here with the passband, and then I'll filter it down. 2.4 sounds good if the sending station is not using high fidelity sideband. This sounds pretty good for the usual communications audio, as you have heard with your own ears today. So the signals aren't strong today. What if we go to fast ABC here? You'll see the meter will jerk a lot more because there's not any real capacitor that's causing it to be integrated for slow ABC. So now it's a lot more fast, and I find the sideband doesn't sound as good in fast ABC. And there's off. So that's 40, not much going on. 80 meters will be dead at this hour too in this location. Let's go back now to 20. 20's kind of been dead. I've not been on the ham radio now for, I don't know, 5 days. So I'm not sure what condition the bands are in, but to go to 20 meters, we select 14 megahertz. We take this pre-selector here to 20 and look at the meter, peek it up. We go to upper sideband here. And now we look for signals. And hint, you can always hear signals on FT8 usually. And FT8 is always the 075, 074 area. So let's try that. And you can calibrate this radio. To calibrate it, you want to turn on the calibration here. And this is going to calibrate on the 25s. So. And then you want to move this thing to 0. You want to move the inner knob to 0. So you can slip the inner knob here, slip the inner scale to get it exactly 0. Just like that. So now, go down to KC, you can turn off the calibrate. Go down to KC. You'll hear the FT8s. They're not real strong on 20 meters today. Conversely, you can go to 15 meters now. 21 megahertz. Take this to 15. Peek it. Check the calibration. A little different, but not too bad. FT8's right about there on 15. So there just isn't much signal today in the air. It's just not a great day for amateur radio. Let's look for some sideband. Nothing on 15. Anyway, you'll find days where this stuff is dead, and you'll find days where the bands are very active and there's people talking. So it all is related to sunspot cycle. They call it cycle 25 coming up, but each day will be different. Okay, that's 15 meters. Let's go to 10 now. 10 is usually pretty dead. Let's calibrate. Okay, so FT on 10 will be right about there. And I'm on 28.5. Well, that's not right. 28.5, I'd want to be lower. So I'm not going to hear FT8 there. So on 10 meters, I have crystals installed here. Okay, so number 7, I think crystal would be the lower part, 10 meters. So I would go here to number 7, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Peek it. Calibrate it. So that's not a perfect match at all, but okay, beyond all that, there's crystals in here, and these crystals will cause the radio to assume different bands other than what was shipped with it. So the broadcast band basically is 160 meters. So this crystal 1 here will take it from 1.5 to 2.0 megahertz. As you know, the broadcast band goes from .530 to about 1.7 megahertz. So to make that go, it's a little bit of hand waving here. We'll go here to crystal position 1. So first we'll go here to 1. Okay, there's normal, there's 1 right there. So go to crystal position 1. Now take the band selector to the lowest band here, which is 160. And now 160 is a real bear to tune because it just is. It's a low frequency and the coils have to be tuned a lot faster than other bands. So we'll take this pre-selector all the way down to the 160 area and even down to almost 0, about there, just because I know that's where it works. And you want to watch your S meter and peek it. Okay, now we're pretty much in the broadcast band. We know it's AM, so we go to AM mode here. And there's a couple of Spanish stations in the Las Vegas area on this band. Okay, now we'll peek it. Now, this is about as low as you can go. You can try and go lower, but the pre-selector now is against the 0 post. So we're going to lose the efficiency and lose sensitivity if we go lower in the broadcast band. It's not made to do this. But, so there's one station. Peek it again. Here's a weak station. And there's something. Anyway, that's broadcast band. Another fun thing to do here is to find WWV, Fort Collins, Colorado, or Hawaii. Those are around. So WWV is on 5 megahertz, which crystal 3 will cover. It's on 10 megahertz, which crystal 4 will cover, and it's on 15 megahertz. So you have 3 different opportunities here for going to WWV. So let's go to crystal 3, which is the 5 megahertz. The way you do that is you go to crystal 3 here, okay, and then you say, okay, it's 5 megahertz. You know that you have 7 megahertz here and 3 megahertz, so it's between these 2 bands. So you can select one or the other and see which one works the best. So we'll start on 80 meters here, and you know it's going to be above 80 meters because it's between 3.5 and 7, and so here it's between here and here. So put the vernier about here, and I hear nothing. So we're going to tune this thing for peak. Okay, so that's about right. The band on number 3 goes from 4.5 to 5. So 5 is at the very end. We're going to spin all the way up to the end here. Right around the 5, right about there. Re-peak it. Listen for WWV. That is the calendar. What is that? That could be a spur. Yeah, I remember there's one spur, there's one harmonic in this thing. And that's because the actual VFO, the PTO is in that same range. So you're actually picking up the PTO itself. So anyway, 5.0 is just not happening. It doesn't usually open up until night, so let's forget about that. We checked this, there's no WWV there. Let's now go to 4. This will get us on 10 megahertz WWV, so we're going to go to crystal 4. There's crystal 4 there. Now 10 megahertz is between 7 and 14, so let's go to 7 megahertz. That's 40 meters. So we're between 40 meters and 20 meters, so we'll set our dial about there. And this one is high in the band, I think. No, it's near the bottom. So let's go to the bottom here. So the bottom, we're at the bottom now. Let's peak it. Oh, there's a peak around 20. Is there a peak down here? It should peak about there. There it is. Go to AM. And conversely, we can try this also on the 20 meter band because it is between both bands. So try the band that works best. So now we'll go 20 meter band and we'll crank this down a bit. So it comes in better using a 20 meter band to do the interpolation with the 10 megahertz crystal on position 4. And you can test the calibrator this way too. You can hear a beat tone. I would say the calibrator is off by about 30 cycles. I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, that's WWV on 10 megahertz. There's also 15 megahertz. So let's go to crystal position 5. We're going to go to 5 now. And that's 15 megahertz, which is close to 20 meters. So we'll stay on 20. Go right about there. And that one's high in the band, so we're going to go right to the end of the band, right to the end at 15, so we're going to go up to the very end here. We're going to repeak, and there it is. So that's WWV on 15 megahertz. Check the calibration. Our calibrator is too strong for the signal. So to test the calibration, you want to wait until WWV comes in a lot better than this. All right, that's about it. So to get back to normal operation, oh yeah, and here's the filter. So it doesn't sound good when you filter down WWV, but it is possible. Okay, with that said, now we can go back to amateur radio. Let's go back to the norm position, which will use the normal crystals that match these bands here. Here we go. And we're on 20 meters. Go back to 20 here. Just looking for FT8, which is about 074. Calibrate. And we'll sync this. There we go. Yep, there they are. FT8. FT8 on 20 meters. Not very strong. So yeah, I mean, it's common for this thing to be dead. On the weekends, you'll find a lot more people talking, but it's a work day. I mean, you know, today's a Wednesday or a Thursday, so. All right, let's go back to around my area. 40 meters is the most active band in daytime with 40 meter nets. So let's go there, lower sideband, and all right, so there's not a lot going on 40 meters today here, and it doesn't mean the radio is bad or defective. It just means that the band is not very active. You can tell by the noise level here, by the meter, that this R4B has lots of sensitivity. All right, so that's about that. We've gone through all the bands. The notch control is used to notch out carriers on your passband. Works pretty darn good. Here's 15 meters again. Yeah, not much going on. We'll take one sleep through 80. 80 is always dead here in the daytime. Let's try that out. All right, so I deem the radio ownership worthy and worthy of shipping out to my new friend here in Missouri. So that's where the radio is going to go. I appreciate you folks watching. This is probably the best R4B I've ever owned, and I had a bit of sadness today turning it on, thinking this thing's going to be gone once again, but off it goes. I probably had 13 radios, and now I'm getting down to a reasonable number. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Have a great day.